You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Hello and welcome back to My Wheelhouse. After a week absence, we're back rolling here. Pretty excited to get going. As always, I'm Seamus. I'm joined by another familiar panel. Uncle Mike, you're back. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Great to be here.
Yeah?
I love these days. I love these Mondays things. It's great to get together all the time because I'm thinking about it all the time. And this time of year, I'd be waiting to Thanksgiving before I see you guys.
Right,
now
exactly.
It's like, whoa.
I remember last week I woke up on Monday. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do today? How about you, Mike? What's going on?
Mike?
Yeah, that's the wrong person. You're Matt. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to go. I have no idea what we're going to talk about because this is like the dead season for NBA. The NFL is starting. Yeah. All the summer leagues are over. Free agency is pretty much over.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Well, we got 2 weeks of topics built up.
I got plenty. Yeah. I didn't have any trouble. I was surprised how much stuff there was when I went through my notes and stuff. There was lots of stuff.
You got one chump you want to talk about or something like that? Give me one chump. I know you got like five on your paper. Just give me one.
Have you heard about the Boogie Cousins bobblehead?
No. Tell me about it.
Only bobbles when it wants to.
That's a good joke, but it's not a chump.
Oh, and how about Zach Randolph being arrested? You knew that was coming.
He's my chump. Did you hear about this?
Yeah. He had a rough pot on him. Either he smoked a boatload or he's trying to make some extra cash.
They said he was arrested with a certain amount of pot with the intent to sell, which is hilarious.
That means you have to have quite a bit.
I think
and then don't forget Michael Beasley.
Got signed. Good for him. Keep getting them checks, Michael Beasley.
Well, when he was criticized for his play, he says how good he's going to be this year, and they said, well, what about your defense? He said, you only notice that when I'm on defense.
Yeah. No, he said.
You only notice that when I'm on defense. He said.
He
half the time on offense, and every player in this league fears me when I got the ball.
He did say I've been getting buckets since I came in, but whatever. Couple chumps. All right, let's get to the wheel. Matt will have to find out what we got on there whenever it lands.
Okay.
Couple different things. We're off. New jerseys, very good that we came up with that first topic. All right, so Nike took over for the licensing for the NBA and all of their products, whether it's actual jerseys or everything affiliated with that. Thank God they eliminated the sleeve jerseys and a lot of other things. Their jerseys are apparently more streamlined. They're used with recycled material. They reduce sweat by something like 20%. There's a lot of statistics that went into it. I was going to show you guys some of the highlights of the new jerseys. I really like the Sixers. The Phoenix Suns got a lot of heat, but there's a ton of new jerseys. So overall, I just wanted to combine the new jerseys that are coming out with everything that you could think of with jerseys. What's your favorite jersey all time? What franchise has your favorite jerseys all time? What jerseys do you remember owning? What was your first jersey you owned? Anything you could think of. The topic is jerseys. Go.
Okay.
What you got?
Well, obviously, I'm with the Lithuanian national team in 1992.
Okay.
And I'm surprised you don't know the story. I don't know the story.
I'm about to.
So the Soviet Union had just pulled out of Lithuania, and they're destitute. They got nothing. They got no money. They can't afford any uniforms. Now, in San Francisco, my guys, the Grateful Dead, they get together, and they have about 100 people in their meetings. They open up to everybody, and they kick out, well, where can our little extra money go? And somebody pulls up and says, well, there's this basketball team over in Lithuania, and they don't have enough money for uniforms. And Garcia goes, that's it. Sponsor the uniforms.
Wow. That makes sense with their colors.
Makes sense with this. And now you should see the warm-up pants that go with it.
But why aren't they more tie-dye-y? That's the jersey.
That's a lot of tie-dye down there.
Well, no, on the shirt it is. On this, that's not tie-dye. That's what the jersey exactly looks like.
But I think this is really what it is. And
looks like they were sponsored by Bob Marley, not by Grateful Dead.
The bronze medal. Yep. And Sabonis becomes you will talk more about Sabonis. Sabonis becomes a Hall of Fame player. Quite a story.
So your favorite jersey all time is the Lithuanian national team sponsored.
I don't really like jerseys in general, but I do have another story on jerseys. But go ahead.
How old is that shirt?
Oh, I just got it.
You just got it?
Yeah, it's a famous shirt.
It looks bright, it looks new.
Yeah,
doesn't look.
This is the Lithuanian national team uniform.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well, what's your first jersey you remember?
First jersey?
Yeah.
I had the original AI red Philadelphia 76ers.
Nice, that's a good jersey.
Penny Hardaway.
Yep.
Orlando. Those are probably my top two growing up.
Why? Top two because of the player or because of the uniform? Because of his jersey itself?
Well,
just the ones you
Seamus
had.
asked my first jersey, so
Okay.
that's right around the time I was probably in the 6th grade or something like that. So that made sense, and those were my favorite 2 players. I have a question. So when do they come with the sponsorships on the jerseys?
Already have it.
They're already are they on the Celtics jersey?
Yeah, General Electric.
Okay, so it's on like
Right
the
there.
sleeve.
Yeah,
So if I go to the store, and I want to buy someone a jersey for Christmas, I'm going to have the GE logo on it.
I think the official one is, but just like every other year, they have replica jerseys and they have alternate, alternate cost points. So
Okay.
some of them don't have it on there, but if you want the official, actual game jersey, that's like $120 or whatever, it's gonna have the GE thing on it.
If you're a traditionalist, you don't like that, though.
I agree.
Because especially as teams like the Celtics and the Knicks and the Lakers, to see these, that's part of the aura of going to the games is the jerseys were the same
history.
jerseys
Right.
that the guys 50 years ago were wearing.
It's kind
and
of
now
like
we're going to put
sneakers
like
for you guys.
Yeah.
It's like it's not the style of the shirt.
now we're going to be
it's
putting like Affleck. Next thing you know, I mean, it's only a matter of time before it's the way it is over in Europe for the
I
soccer
disagree.
jerseys.
I think that they're going to restrict it. I think they're going to keep it really subtle, and I think they're going to do a good job at policing the historical factor of a jersey and keeping it just like pretty pristine and just it's small. It's small.
The way it is right now
it's
is
fine.
not as bad.
And
I was nervous when they
And
first
the
announced
majority
it.
of the sponsors are pretty fun. Like the Magic have Disney, the Milwaukee Bucks have Harley Davidson. Like there's some cool sponsors in there.
I really like what Major League Baseball is doing. Have you heard?
No, tell me.
This coming weekend.
Yep.
It's Players Weekend.
Yep.
They allow the players to design their own jerseys, and every player in the Major League Baseball will have a nickname on the back. Mike Napoli is Porterhouse. Giancarlo Stanton is Free Love.
That's
and
good.
Every player in all of baseball is going to have their nickname on the back.
I don't know.
And they're going to have colors that are wild. It'll be the first time in Yankee history that they won't be wearing pinstripes.
What is it? I don't know if you remember.
They're calling it Players Weekend.
I don't know if you remember that, but the NBA did that 2 seasons ago. So like
Where you can wear anything? With nicknames
no,
on the back?
Nicknames on the back. So Ray Allen. So it was around a holiday. So like Ray Allen had like Jay Shuttlesworth on the back of his jersey.
Okay.
Yep. LeBron said King James.
King James.
So it was a lot of nicknames. Some of them just had their normal name because I guess they don't have a nickname.
Well, I think that's brilliant what they're doing,
Definitely.
especially
Yeah.
baseball,
The personalization.
when no one knows other than your own team. No one knows the guys on the teams to personalize and understand the stories. And they had last night. They played a game at Williamsport. I don't know if you saw this, but they had
Yeah, I saw that.
in the Little League World Series. They played a major league game. The Pirates played the Cardinals
Right.
in the stadium, and they had on the sleeves. They had the players write down a name of a person who inspired them or helped them on their
Nice.
journey to become. So it just helps. You're just more invested when you know more about the players and their stories.
That's where something I definitely think they should look towards for like the NBA for like the All-Star game. I think that's something that they should really look for.
That would be pretty cool.
I think that
but I didn't
makes
see anything
sense.
like Porterhouse or Free Love on the
No, there were some weird nicknames, but like I mean, like it's all what your nickname is. I mean, some people have crazy
Talking about
nicknames,
that
some people
Little
have
League,
normal
I mean,
nicknames.
not to
Whatever.
really get off subject,
got
but when I was watching that, I was kind of watching what a great thing that was in terms of pure sport and McCutcheon doing the thing and out there riding the bus with the players and eating potato chips and that versus AAU basketball and LeBron ball, and what's going on there? That could never happen inside the Little League. They would kick somebody out like that so fast.
The thing is, the Little League is like regulated and like partners with MLB baseball on a lot of things, and it's really structured in a much better way. And I talked about it how they could fix AAU a little bit. But, I mean, there's a lot of different ways. Back to the jerseys, I wanted to just point out a couple of my favorite jerseys. That jersey right there isn't my favorite jersey. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers, like 1990s with the blue stripe. If that was a Sean Kemp jersey and not a Kyrie Irving jersey, I think that would be my favorite jersey. My favorite jersey is based off of my favorite player that was when I was younger, is the Seattle Supersonics, the white jersey with the green and yellow stripe down there, Rashard Lewis, number 7. It was my first jersey I ever asked for Christmas. I got the jersey, and it just disappeared.
Yeah,
and I've
those
tried to
things
order it several times, which happens to me a lot.
I have
feel
a
like
lot of my best albums and a lot of my dead tapes. I mean, I wonder where they are.
disappear. What about best franchise for a jersey in the NBA in terms of historical changes and stuff like that? Can you think of any like franchise? I know my personally, I think that the Hawks have one of the best jersey resumes in the entire league. Think of those Pistol Pete jerseys that were blue with the fluorescent green kind of strips up here. They have even the new jerseys with the triangle, but then you go to Dominique and Spud Webb with the red and yellow.
Yeah, okay.
Those colors, those are really nice. There's what's another jersey that they have? They've had 6 or 7 jerseys that are all really, really cool. You think of a franchise that has some cool jerseys?
I'm just not into jerseys like that. You know,
I know.
Well, I like the traditional Celtics.
Right, yeah, so then
I like
that-
the Bucks logo. I mean, I like the Bucks.
So then,
obviously,
why can't the Celtics be your favorite jersey if they've been consistent
so
throughout?
Traditional, yeah, I guess. You know.
Yeah,
I don't like how how many jerseys do they have now? How many different uniforms do they have?
Every team has
They have one
4.
for St. Patrick's Day. They have one for
Well, I think that's probably going to be slimmed
part
down
of
a
it.
little bit. So now, every jersey, every team has 4 jerseys. There's no longer home and away. Home and away jerseys don't exist anymore. So now it's icon and association instead of home and away. And then there's a heritage jersey, and I forget what the 4th jersey is, but the other 2 jerseys that are alternate are going to be based off of like historical, some type of tie-in. I hear rumors that the Magic's jersey is absolutely crazy. People are telling me that the Heat's jersey is absolutely crazy. But a lot of just the icon and association are a little more conventional. But I think I like the scheme, and it looks like they're going to get more creative with it. I don't know. What do you think? What are you looking forward? What do you want to happen with the jerseys? You don't like the design base?
I'd like to bring back the tie-dye. I mean, come on, somebody's going to do
tie-dye.
it.
Was there
Hey,
ever a
Golden
tie-dye
State can
jersey?
do it. Golden State's out there in San Francisco.
Yep.
Could have a retro. It's
I guess.
25 years since the Lithuanian national team. You could celebrate that.
That's true.
You didn't see the movie.
No, I did not see the movie.
Look that up.
All right, you got anything else on jerseys?
Well, to me, like I said, I'm a traditionalist. I
Right.
like watching the Celtics play in the same jerseys that Bill Russell played in.
Yeah.
I like seeing the Lakers play in. I like seeing the Yankees, the Cowboys, the Steelers. Like when you watch games with those jerseys, it makes it hit home much more to me than watching, the LA Chargers and
Yeah.
the expansion franchise. You feel like I just feel more invested. I feel like I'm watching a continuation of the story of the league and those glorified
Magic say
franchises.
If they go on a losing streak, he's going to bring back the short pants.
Who knows? I do.
He's still there.
I mean, they did a good job with the Celtics jerseys, keeping it simple and
Yeah.
somewhat classic.
I liked what I saw.
But wouldn't you be interested in like the 4th jersey? That's the heritage jersey being something crazy. Like, what if it was a big white jersey with a huge shamrock on it or something like that? Like,
always like
I don't
that
like
would be
it.
cool.
I just
All
keep
right.
it simple. This is a money grab, just like the
Yeah, I think-
advertising is. That's all it is.
all right, next one. Do a
Right.
couple
I didn't
more of
like
these.
my first spin. I didn't think
Let's
it
see
was
the muscle.
strong
Let's
enough.
See the muscle.
Okay. No, you're doing
I'm
well.
afraid to break
Oh,
the wheel.
another
Okay,
good one.
Marvin Bagley. So he was the
The
number.
third.
Yeah, the 3rd. I apologize. He was the number 1 overall recruit in the 2019 class, and then he reclassified to the 2018 class.
Now, what's this reclassification crap?
Yeah,
Well,
so-
what the heck is with that?
So basically, when
You're a high school senior, and all of a sudden you're reclassified as not a high school
yeah,
senior?
so now all players are able to like change years, go to prep school. You get another year of high school, basically,
Yeah.
so you can play again.
So everyone's taking the 5th year. Everyone's going to high school for 5 years. That's the new thing. Even
Right.
if you're going to a Division II school.
He's 19 years old.
Right.
Right. Even if you're going to a D2 school, they tell you to stay back on an extra year.
They think it's more
so
beneficial.
That's what
I got nothing against Bagley, and I would say that, man, if you could have, I'm reading your article, Shay. I liked it on everything considering the one and dones.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's doing. He's looking to become a one and done quicker than he would have become before.
So it's pretty-
and he's looking to do that. But what I don't like is I don't like the fact that we always, Duke drives me nuts. He drives a lot of people nuts.
I hate
But this
Duke.
fine academic institution is going to bring this guy in there for 1 year. I mean, it's such a crock. It's awful. And this reclassification thing, the guy, you think he went to MIT for his some extra courses and stuff? I'll go with your article and I'll say that kid right now should be in the NBA. And if he was in the NBA right now, he'd be wearing a Celtics uniform, wouldn't he?
That's right. No,
I think so, boy. He's that good.
So next year, it's a much different draft than it was this past season. This past season just had a strong lottery, and just through and through the lottery was pretty beefy. This is more like a 5-player draft, and there's 5, maybe 6 players that are looking really prominent, and then it tails off. And the majority of those players, thankfully for the Celtics, who might have 2 top 5 picks, are all bigs, with the exception of 1 point guard whose name is Luka Doncic. But Marvin Bagley is commonly accepted, if not the best player, the second best player behind Michael Porter. He has
he's better than Porter.
Yeah, I mean, it's up,
He's
for,
a
it's,
real
up,
big.
it's up for debate. Yeah, Porter's
He's a real big.
Porter's like a 3-4, and
I
he's like
watched
a
him.
4-5.
They kind of said, and I think it was kind of accurate. They couldn't think about anything he resembled, and they said a cross between Chris Bosh and
That's
Kevin
right.
Garnett.
Okay,
Got the motor.
I see more
You
Chris
see him
Bosh.
rebound? He's on a pogo stick. 3 times in a row he's on top of the rim. He's got a kind of a Bosch type shot from the outside.
He's got a quick first step too. I was impressed in the highlights that I've seen. He's been playing in that Drew League, which is mostly.
Yeah, what is that?
So it's I'm pretty sure it's in California, but it's a lot of off season.
With pro players?
It's off season. Pro players play. It's a lot of the times it's like hoop mix type players, so like James Harden and Jamal Crawford and Chris Paul.
Yeah,
players
32.
Play with
It's
that
like a
player.
Rucker League type of thing.
Exactly. It's exactly.
Yeah,
what that-
32.
So he played with these people and he was dominating. He was dominating these players. He was like one of the best players there in the entire.
So we're supposed to look forward this year to seeing him play for Duke, I guess. You know.
It's interesting because of reclassification. There might end up being there might end up being
reclassification.
There might end up seeing some type of hiccup where he might not be able to play until like the second half of the season.
Whoever thought of that reclassification? I mean,
well, the only reason why he's reclassifying, if he was projected to be a top 15 pick, he wouldn't be reclassifying. It's because he's so his stock has rose so
he just
quickly.
might as
went
well.
to 3 high schools last year, I believe.
Yes, that sounds right.
In 2 different states.
That sounds right.
I hear you. I'm not.
19 years old.
Yeah,
Not a lot of guys are in high school at 19.
that's true.
I mean, he should be. I'm not against him. I think
It's the system.
I think he should be in the NBA right now. There's no reason why not.
I mean, that's a whole. I mean, we could
Yes,
do
it
a
is.
whole.
Yes,
That's
it
a whole
is.
different
Yes, it
topic
is.
on
Talk
that.
about that
For
next.
me, it's all. It's based off of from a Celtics perspective. It's great news if you're a Celtics fan that this is happening because he's a legit future All-Star, and the Celtics could have 2 top 5 picks next year,
So
and they're gonna have at least 1.
I got
So-
you. If they change the rule to one and done, so they all become eligible again, can you reclassify and get eligible for the draft? Is that going to be
I think
part of it?
they would have to allow players to do that. That would be
I
so
would have loved to
unfair.
have this guy. This guy would have been so.
Well, if you're a
we-
Celtic
we-
fan, this is great news because
Yeah,
you got
this is awesome. This
you
is-
know you're gonna have at least 1 top 5
but
pick.
you got to get
Maybe-
the one. You know.
You don't need the
You don't
one
need
now
to get
because
the
you got two
But you're going to need the one
legit
to
guys.
get I think you're going to need the one to get this guy.
I mean, a
I
lot
think
of the
he's head and shoulder, obviously, but
A lot of the teams-
he's a real big.
a lot of the teams that are down there do so. Like the teams that are probably
6'11".
going to finish in the bottom 5 are the Bulls, probably the Hawks, the Nets, obviously,
Brooklyn, yeah.
the Phoenix Suns, and the Kings and the Lakers. Those
Okay.
are the 6 worst teams in the league. And I would say the Hawks, and what are the other ones? The Suns,
Kings.
the Suns. No, not the Kings.
Oh, the other one's out of that.
I'm trying to say the teams that wouldn't pick a big guy. So if any team besides, so that's what you got to be nervous about.
Yeah. Well, let me say this, Mike. If this Bagley comes in and pulls a Harry Giles and puts up 7 points and 3 rebounds next year, he's not going to be a top 5 pick. So it's actually protecting the Celtics.
Yeah, but that was a
Harry
completely
Giles
different
was
situation.
injured.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
so that's.
Well, he went in the top. He went 15th or 18th overall,
Right, with
and if
an
he
injury.
came out right out of high school, he would have been a top 5.
Have you watched this Bagley?
I've seen a little
Awesome.
bit. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, they would have said they said Harry Giles was
It's
Chris
not
Webber.
like watching Zion Williamson where you're saying you're watching AAU. You're watching somebody you're saying.
Well, we'll
this
see.
guy
In
is-
this 1 year of school protects
Some of them
teams
are left-handed,
like the
too.
Celtics and the Sixers for drafting guys that aren't ready, that aren't as advertised. So that's one good thing. And also for the Celtics, doesn't matter if they get the first pick, it strengthens that asset. So even if they want to
Right.
move it, it just strengthens that top 5, that top tier lottery. And it's good news all around for the Celtics. That's the bottom line.
I think
It is.
worst case scenario is the Nets are the 5th worst team, and then the Lakers are the 6th worst team, and then we get the 5th pick, and then regardless, we're still going to get probably a big worst player that we could possibly get is Mohamed Bamba, and he looks like he's going to be Nerlens Noel, which we would love to have Nerlens Noel on our team, and that's the worst case scenario, and I
He
think
wouldn't
that's
play
great.
a whole lot.
No, not a.
I mean,
not a
you guys are bullish on the Lakers, but even if they finish 8 or 9, that doesn't mean they don't
I'm
get number
bullish
3 or 4th
on the
pick.
Knicks this week.
You're bullish on the
The
Knicks?
Knicks.
Well, yeah. Why?
I like
why
what's
would-
happening with them.
Why?
Well, we got to get rid of Carmelo, but I see. I just see with Chris Tapps. I like who's the shooter they got? The Hardaway.
Hardaway
I think
Jr.?
Hardaway. You see what D-Wade said about him?
Something about him
D-Wade
getting paid
said
a lot of money.
everybody in the league knows he's the real deal. So he's coming. That team is reshaping under our eyes. I'd like the other big there, Hernandez Gomez or whatever his name is.
Gomez.
I'd like him there. They're really only one player away. And when you look at one real good player away, but when you look at the point guard that they got instead of the guy that's in Dallas, who's that? Smith? Is that his name in
Dennis
Dallas?
Smith.
If they could have picked him, and look how that team would really be starting
Yeah,
to
I
shape.
agree.
You know, I like a lot. I don't like Beasley, obviously, and I
mean-
don't like Carmelo, and Carmelo's going to go.
Well, the
but
best thing
I'm
that
starting to
happened.
like that team.
The best thing that happened with the Knicks is they got Phil Jackson out of there because he had no idea what he was doing. He probably put in less time to that job than we put in on the Wheelhouse every week.
I would agree. All right, we can move on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
All right.
Marvin, hopefully a Celtic next year.
My spin's getting a little better.
All right, Mike, what do you want to talk about? Land it on you.
Oh,
it can be
don't
quick.
forget Joaquin Noah. He's the.
Whoa.
We're still talking to Knicks because what Noah said is that he did not throw Jackson under the bus, and he says he credits.
I wouldn't throw anybody under the bus that gave me $60 million either. I wouldn't do that.
He says he's healthy and he's ready to make up for last year. He becomes the backup that when you put Gomez and Porzingis and him up front, that starts to be legit. What's the topic?
So
now?
you're the top.
I
are the
want
top.
to talk about how Joakim Noah boat sailed 6 years ago. Like after.
Well, I talked about the Knicks. So
I don't want to waste the topic on Joakim Noah. He doesn't even deserve 5 seconds of My Wheelhouse
for no reason.
Okay.
So it's your topic. You want something else? Or is it
I think in the news, just a tidbit of thing. It was well, let's talk about the big three.
The
big three. I thought the big three was pretty cool, and as it's developing, it's got better, and that the game is improved because they've got. In the beginning, they were out of shape, and it was all this hand checking and grabbing.
Right.
Now that is going away. There's a team that's 8-0 in there, and it's cruising. They're still drawing the fans. I think what's shaping up is the future of that. That's going to happen again. So it's like, anybody here want to start put out potential teams for next year? It's going to be a whole different thing. You're going to start to see better and better players. One that I've seen thrown out there.
So we're talking 3-on-3
3
league.
on 3,
yes.
and now you're going to see that
it's the
develop.
professional league. It's the league that's on FS1 or whatever.
You're going to.
I haven't watched any of that.
It's enjoyable.
They got like a 5-point
They're
shot.
drawing 15,000 people, and
I heard Allen Iverson
like it, but I see something
Iverson
developing there. It's an
a player that
interesting
matters.
game. They all play 3-on-3 forever, Matt. Right? So 3-on-3 is already a format. They all play 3-on-3, and they've kind of started to develop that. The team that was thrown out there, kind of facetiously, is Pierce, Garnett, and Allen. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah,
but that type of thing looks like that is going to happen with these guys that want to keep playing. You only play once a week, so it's like football. You go to that city, you bring your family with you, you camp out for the week, you kind of enjoy things, and then you play on the weekend. And you're going to see better and better players doing it.
It's hard for me to get excited to watch Al Harrington play basketball.
No, I understand. Charles Oakley was playing.
What's interesting about that is the next step is you're going into it's an Olympic sport.
I understand. That's
where things are going to get a little.
But how would you like it at the NBA All-Star team instead of what they're throwing out there as a product right now, something like that? And how would you like watching Garnett, Allen, and Pierce play 3-on-3 against comparable competition?
There's a 0% chance that KG is going to let Ray
Allen play any
basketball. No. I mean, again, I said it was facetious, but I'm just saying that caliber of team coming out.
To me, it's like the old. Remember the old timers games in the early '90s during All-Star Weekend? They had like Dave Bing and Rick Barry out there.
I know, but it's not looking like that. As it's moving along, it's looking better than that. It's looking better than that.
Okay.
We've talked about the big three at great length.
That was my first conversation.
Tangle with the big three.
Darko, even though it's probably on Mike again, we're just going to talk about Darko because it's closest to this. So the ESPN did an E60 on Darko Milicic, just on him, the consensus of him being one of the biggest draft busts of all time. Now? It's awesome. So he's great. After watching this made me be a huge fan of Darko. All right,
unless you're a Detroit fan.
So honestly, it seemed like he just hated basketball. Sorry. So he was brought up. Everyone around him was like, hey, you're tall. Here's a basketball. Try to do this. He was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good. And eventually, one thing led to another, and eventually he was in the NBA and he got enough visibility where that's where he landed. And the entire time, he came in, was expecting to be a featured piece, but he got put on a championship contending team that ended up winning a championship in the Pistons. And then he jumped around to like 5 different teams. Every single team was like a project, and they were like, we're going to fix you, and never gave him a big enough shot. And the thing that was really most telling about the entire special was he was very, he took the responsibility. He said it was my fault that I was a bust. Instead of really deterring it and be like, oh, it depends on how you look at it, he was kind of humbling in that manner and saying that I really had a terrible attitude. It was crazy. He was saying he would come home every single night, and his hotel rooms, he would have to call plasterers to come afterwards because he would punch 15 to 20 holes in his wall every night.
Why punch somebody on the floor?
Just because he was furious and he was just frustrated with the.
It was kind of high.
He didn't speak a lot of English. He didn't know what person in the States.
Right.
I mean, this is Darko is the poster child for the one and done, and for an argument for making these guys go to college. Because if he goes to college for a year, he's not a top 2 pick. He's not a top 3 pick.
He's a Fab Melo.
He's a top 20. He's a top 20 pick.
I mean, that's a completely different system because he was filtered in from.
But he becomes the definition of bust. which is
Yeah,
horrible. That is humble.
But he embraced that term. He was like, "Is this special just going to be about me being a bust?"
The biggest
Like,
bust in NBA.
So what's he doing right now?
Okay, so over his career, he allotted $56 million, and he's been
nice.
not a bust, and he's been very smart with his money, and he's invested it in certain things. He actually ended his career with the Celtics. We signed him to a deal. He walked into the office with Doc, and he said, "Doc, I hate this. I hate basketball. I'm not playing anymore. I'm going home."
In your article, I like that thing about the percentage of NBA players that are broke after 5 years. How was that? Was it? Yeah,
It was high. It was like
40%.
It's over 40. Yeah.
That was really
so
shocking.
So he's
to me.
doing well in comparison to other.
I don't
people.
know if I do blame the players, but I think it's a bigger knock on the teams themselves for not helping these guys. Do you know how hard it is to blow $30-40 million?
Yeah, people are just being irresponsible.
It's outrageous. These teams need, the NBA or the teams, they need to step up, even if it's putting the players protecting themselves, and when they negotiate the next CBA saying 10% of your salary needs to go in a protected account, like a lockbox account or something like that, where you can't touch it for 10 years because
No, that's something
Put it into a pension plan
that's something
for
I
them.
talked
but when
about.
you're 18 years old, you don't know how hard it is to make $1 million or you know how hard it will be to get that money back. You don't know how
That's
to
something I
manage
talked
money.
about in my article too. I think that they need to do better at tutoring the players that are coming in at a young age and really being able to channel them post-career, because the large percentage of them aren't going to be all-stars. The large percent of them aren't going to make a ton of money, but the large percent of them, if they're just kind of smart, should be able to handle their money over a long period of time after they're out of the league, if they have the right direction.
I think that's what's fascinating about this whole thing is because think of the normal trajectory of a normal professional in the United States. It's you're out of college, you make no money, and you just get by, you're sleeping on couches, and by the time you get to your 30s and your 40s, that's when your peak earning potential is. So that's when you start making your money, and you're not hanging around with your college buddies anymore, going to the bars every weekend.
Right.
You just have a different lifestyle, a different perspective. And like if it's in these NBA players, it's the exact opposite, where they're getting thrown all the money when they're 19 years old, and when they're 30 and 40, their earning power is like zero.
Down.
It's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why this whole thing's
So anyway,
fascinating to me.
Darko right now moved back to his home country. He owns who knows, couple dozen, odd some, maybe 100-acre property in his home country. He has.
What is his home country?
It
It might be Lithuania.
Nah, it might be actually. Now that you say it, I thought it was Serbia originally.
could be,
I can look it up. It might be Lithuania.
So
But
what does he do every day?
originally it started off as an apple farm, and now it's cherries. So he's
I love
wicked incredibly, astronomically passionate about cherries. He loves cherries. He thinks they're the most interesting thing in the world. Like they were going around and they were talking. Like the interviewer, spent a week with Darko
I like golden
on his
cherries.
property. Okay.
They're really
And
sweet.
he spent like a week or something like that with Darko on his property, and Darko would walk around and he'd ask him questions about basketball, and Darko would give him an answer, but it was never really elated about the questions. And then when he asked him about what he was doing now, just his demeanor just lit up, and he got super excited when he was talking about cherries. He was like, "Oh, you want this one to be when they're this high off the ground? That means that they're this certain weight. You can
I
use
guess
them
that's
for
what
this."
he's doing, Matt.
He's crazy.
Cherries.
So he has a bunch of kids. He has like a man-made lake. He rides horses. All of his kids ride horses. There's a story that he had where his kid was riding his horse, and he's like 7'1", so you need a huge freaking horse to be able to support
I'm
you.
sure he isn't playing any basketball.
No. So his kid
Picking cherries.
his kid is like 10 or something like that. Got on his horse, Darko's horse, like the biggest horse they own, and fell off and was being dragged by this horse. And Darko was just so freaked out by this, he tackled the horse and punched the horse because he was upset at the horse or something like that. And then he looked back on it and he was like, "Oh my God,
He
what was
just
I
could have
doing?"
been so aggressive on the court.
He was no, okay. It was so crazy. He
didn't even rebound.
He did kickboxing after. He was in UFC after. He's such an
He's all
unusual
tatted
human
up.
being.
Enough of Darko.
Yeah,
The
I
bust.
agree. I can't.
Bust.
I can't.
I'm
I
full.
can't be
But
Team Darko. I'm glad he's well,
Is
but
he the biggest bust?
Yeah.
there's a lot of busts. I mean, to go from
Odin?
Michael Olowokandi,
Odin?
Greg Oden, the kid Bennett. That was
Well,
another one.
tough to call
There's a
injuries.
lot.
Tough to call
Sam
injuries
Bowie.
bust.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
That's
Fab
unfortunate.
Melo's a real bust.
No, you can't be the biggest bust of all
No,
time
you
when
can't
you're
say
like
biggest
18.
bust. Darko's the biggest bust.
Bigger than Sam Bowie.
Sam
You-
Bowie was an injury.
Yeah, but
Sam
never
Bowie
was at
was
the high
injured.
level. Whatever. Next one. We're gonna do
No, that would be a nice article.
a couple more. What the biggest bust is?
Yes.
Or just about
Yes.
Sam Bowie. All right. What do you want to talk about, Matt?
Oh, I don't know that I'm. I don't. Well,
do another
okay.
one.
No,
You can
I'll,
choose
I'll
one of
do
these
it. So you're talking about articles that you guys are writing.
Yes.
I don't think anyone knows what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been on every show. Have we talked about?
I feel like we've kind of plugged the website. Well, okay, so we have a website. It's active. It's up now. It's welcometomywheelhouse.com. It's active 100%. I think Mike has one article up there, which he just literally writes in hand. And then
he won't use the computer.
And then takes pictures, and then I post the pictures of his handwriting. I've written a couple articles. Matt's written a couple articles. We have a couple other writers that are doing stuff too. It's active. We're up. We're still in the process of doing a Facebook page, but the site is up.
Thought-provoking. I got a lot out of Matt's article, and I liked Shay's article on the one and dones, and Matt's whole thing on players and their relationship with management and media and fans. Really interesting.
Right. So I guess the big picture is the website is supposed to be kind of a complementary aspect to the show.
That's true.
And we'll be putting some videos on the website.
Yes.
And
all of the episodes are on the website.
Hopefully, between the different platforms, we get a little momentum going and get some good dialogue going.
In time for basketball season.
Yes, perfect.
Right.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Exactly.
Right. Good plug. Good plug, Matt. Good plug.
I'm hearing guest stars as rumors.
My spins are I was getting abuse on the spins.
Repeat spin.
Yeah. There's
something about your touch on the wheel, Matt.
It goes once around.
You must do the
Look
at that.
Just choose one we haven't talked about.
It's very hard. It's
Yeah,
very
just
hard to
pick
get
another
more
one.
than one in a round.
Choose one we haven't talked about. MVP odds, tampering, or player voice,
scheduling.
or the scheduling.
All right.
It's
We're on
amazing. It's amazing.
We already talked about MVP. Tampering's boring. I don't want to talk about
I
tampering.
like the schedule.
Well, you had me
cool.
spin it. There's only like
One of those
one that
two.
you
One
want
of
to
those
talk
two.
about.
Scheduling. Just leave it there. All right. So NBA schedule came out. Really excited. Celtics have top 7 in televised games, less than the Los Angeles Lakers, but that includes NBA TV, which is kind of a joke, like doesn't really count as a televised game.
I like the matchups.
Yeah, we have some really good matchups. We
lots of them.
open the season against the Cavs
Not
the
just
first
the
night.
Celtics.
Well, everybody
across the
plays
league.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah, but you've got such intriguing things happening. You know, when Houston plays, when Clippers,
lots
all
of
that.
come-home
There's
games.
lots
Yeah,
of
you're right.
them.
You're right. You know, it's going to be really interesting, and they clearly put a lot of time in this. We're starting the season a full 10 days earlier, which allows for the elimination of 4 games in 5 days. They're really doing the best to just eliminate resting altogether. So televised games, they did the best to target them so that they're not on back-to-backs. They're eliminating as many back-to-backs as they can. I think they did a really good job. The way I took this schedule, I mean, we can talk about the actual things in the schedule. Like we're playing the Sixers in London. Like some people are playing in Mexico City. People are playing all over the place.
Sixers and Lakers, nice game. You know, all those Oklahoma City.
221 teams.
Yep.
Can't beat that.
Just there's so many intriguing matchups that around the league.
So my question is a little bit outlandish, but I was curious whether you guys thought that these advancements in the schedule towards tailoring them towards player health, tailoring them towards eliminating the resting and stretching it out over a long period of time, and in addition to targeting placing games in foreign areas, whether that means that we're closer to league expansion, and whether that means we're closer to league expansion in different areas across seas. Would it be that outlandish that in 5 years from now we could have one team in London, and then people freak out and you say, no, you can't have one team in London because of scheduling problems, and have one team fly out there? That'll be a problem. So why not just fly 3 teams out there and have them do a little mini tournament for 2 weeks? The 2 teams play at a neutral site like they are right now, like the Celtics are playing the Sixers in London, and then the 3rd team plays the actual home team in London, and then you cycle around and then you come back. The Celtics have 4 days off before they play the London game and 4 days off after. So I think that, and we can keep expanding the schedule. We've seen them improving popularity of the game.
I'll miss not seeing the Celtics for a week.
Well,
I don't really want to see the 4 games off and the 4 games
I feel
after.
you,
I would like to see. My thought right away is.
But there's more games. There will be more games because there's more teams.
I think there'll be expansion. I don't necessarily think it's going to be London. And I don't know.
The interest is there.
5 years seems quick.
It is. I agree.
So I think that's going to evolve. My thought would be, is Popovich going to plug into this? Do you think he's going to coach any different? Do you really think is he going to rest guys differently than he did before? Because that's kind of what they don't want. They don't want LeBron taking a game off when it's on national TV.
Exactly. So what's going to happen is Pop is still going to rest his player when he wants to rest his player, but now it's tailored so that it's not going to be as big of a deal. And instead of arresting Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker and Pau Gasol on a Saturday night game versus the Houston Rockets, he's going to rest them on back-to-back sets in Chicago. So it seems like it's more tailored to that, and maybe Pop will just be like giving them an FU and still rest them. But I think that they're going to create some type of regulation in terms of punishment. for resting. They extremely are advising against resting players on televised games because that's really all that they care about because that's where they're generating most of their money from. Obviously, it's disappointing if you go to see a team that's visiting, like if the Warriors came and played the Celtics and Steve Kerr rested all of his stars.
What time's the game going to be on in London when you think of that, too? My daughter lives in the UK, and she doesn't see many Red Sox games or any games because back here because of the time frame. When you're looking at it over there, when it's 8 o'clock at night, it's 1 in the morning over there.
Right. Well, yeah, it's 5 ahead, right?
They're 5 hours later. So when it's 8 o'clock at night here, it's 1 in the morning in the UK.
So just have it be a 10:30 game, just like they do out West Coast.
10:30 what, in the morning?
No, 10:30 at night. And
10:30 at night is over 3 in the morning here.
No, I thought it was the other way around.
No. Whatever it is here, it's 5 hours more over there.
So they'd have to have the games in the morning or the afternoon.
Whatever it is here, it's 5 more there. So
it's 5 more.
If it's 10 there, it's going to be 5 p.m. here.
Okay. Oh, okay. So take a 10:30 game over there, which is awkward because I mean, for fans and everything, a 10:30 game.
So what?
There's what? I'm not going.
Why not do them on the weekends then? There's plenty of ways you can go around this. I really think that it is something that they should look into. There's plenty of markets that have the interest. People are clamoring for this Seattle to get the Supersonics back.
I think they're definitely ahead of the curve, and as we talked about before, Silver is definitely on the ball.
Right.
And I trust that as long as he's in charge, that they're going to make the right moves here.
So you guys have just talked about 3 different topics in one topic.
All with the scheduling,
I'll hit all of them.
Okay.
So I'm anti-expansion.
Why?
I'm pro contraction. I want the better play. I want the teams to be more stacked. Like I feel like that's one of the best things that would happen in like the 1980s when you only had 25 teams. You could have 3 or 4 all-stars on the same team. It's more prevalent. If you have 35, 40 teams, that's 35, 40 franchise players, and the league can't support that just from a competitive balance standpoint. In terms of the resting, I think this is one of the most overblown storylines of the last year. Like you don't think that no one makes a big deal when Peyton Manning sits out last week of the regular season in football when they're trying to get ready for the playoffs, or the Patriots are resting their starters.
Well, that's the problem throughout the season, that when they rest them in the middle of the season, that's when it was really annoying. Towards the end of the season, that didn't drive
the game being on TV should be irrelevant as terms of
if you're LeBron James, you're getting paid to win the championship, and that's all anyone ever wants to talk about with the guys at that top level like Steph Curry and LeBron and Durant. It's all about the championship. How many like at the end of the season, no one asks how you did on March the 3rd.
Right.
They want to know, did you win or did you not?
Right.
So that's what the players and the coaches are going to. It doesn't matter how they stagger the games. They're always going to do what they think. If they have a 10-game lead on the first place, you're always going to see. I mean, we do fantasy basketball every season for the last 10 years. And the last 2 seasons of the fantasy basketball season are always a joke.
Last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks are always a joke because this happens. Right. It's not exclusive to LeBron or Durant or this era. It's been going on for a long time.
That's why paying more for winning in the playoffs is less relevant for people that care. All right, so let's. You got one more thing?
The third thing that you've squeezed into this one topic. There's
a lot of things to talk about. It's scheduling.
Into this one topic.
So what
is the expansion?
Yes,
I agree. The NBA is all about grabbing as much dollars as they can. They're going to do it. For me, like it's the same distance from Boston to London as it is from Boston to LA.
Yeah.
So you can't do it. The difference is when you go out west, you've got 4 or 5 teams out west, so you can play them all at once on one swing. So they would probably have to do it with a team. They would have to do it with a team in London, a team in Paris, or something like that.
No, what do you mean? Send 3 teams out there. You send 3 teams all at once.
Yeah, you could do. What I think the barrier to that is going to be the technology. It's only a matter of time. Like they already have these crazy articles out about these high-speed planes and trains, and like you can get from New York to LA in an hour or something like that. Yeah. So like 25. I think 5 years from now, like you said, is a reach. I think 20 years from now, 25 years from now, yes, it's a sure thing, slam dunk.
I agree. All right, we're moving on. Wheels done. I dropped your water bottle. I'm sorry. Doing
okay.
a new variation of hats. We're just going to do.
Where do you get all these hats?
I like NBA, so I get lots of NBA hats.
They look fresh. They look new.
Most of them are relatively new. I've had some of them for a long time, but I try to keep them relatively clean. All right, this segment is, or it's hats, but this variation of hats is guess who. So you pick any hat you want, and then you think of a player on that team, and without giving it away with too easy of hints, you're going to try to describe that player to the other two hosts, and we try to guess. Whoever gets it first wins.
Said he killed a lion when he was a kid.
Yeah, we talked about this last time.
I know, but I like
Joel
that one.
Embiid.
I'm just giving an example. Just getting the game rolling.
Joel Embiid. All right. When I came into the league, I wasn't that great of a defender, but now I'm pretty highly regarded as a pretty good defender.
Draymond Green, Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson. 2 names in a row. That's really fired that off. Let's see what you got over there.
Am I not allowed to do rapid fire?
I like the one at a time, so he got the chance to vote. But you can
Okay.
take up a hat.
I feel like you guys were prepared for this. I'm
I was
completely
No, I
unprepared.
wasn't. That's why I did the one I did.
Okay, I'll do this one. I was recently signed
Okay.
this summer,
Yes.
and I played in the D League before,
Okay.
and I'm a great defender.
Okay.
I can shoot the 3. I'm above the rim. I've never played an NBA game before.
Oh, yeah.
I might have an accent. I'm going to be a sleeper.
I
No
don't-
one's talked about me, but I'm
not gonna get
I'm
it.
going to make.
I know who
Were
it
you a
is.
In
Celtic
the
fan?
D League before.
Yeah, I am a
You're
Not in
on?
the D League, the
Gershon.
summer league. The summer league.
He's new.
Oh,
He's new.
Yabusele. No, what's him call it?
He's new.
Semi.
No.
No.
Beaujolais.
No.
Jeez, you
Good
guys
defender?
are supposed to be Celtic fans.
Demetrius
He's
Jackson.
an excellent
He's a
defender. He was
European
like,
player.
they showed him. I watched a highlight
Daniel
film of
Face.
him. Yes.
What's his name?
He's not an excellent defender.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
average.
he was second. He was second. Voted
Okay,
second in the
okay,
German
okay,
league
okay.
in all defensive player.
Yeah, what does that mean, though?
I spent a lot of time in Manchester, New Hampshire.
How do you know this? Kemba Walker.
No.
Frank Kaminsky.
Nicholas Batum. What else does this guy do besides hang out in New Hampshire?
Well, he had a job in New Hampshire, a basketball job in New Hampshire.
Okay. Clifford. Steve
Yes.
Clifford.
Yes.
Coaching.
He's a coach.
He was the
Coach, that
assistant-
counts. Why
he
not?
was an assistant coach at
why not?
St. Anselm's College in
Why not?
Manchester.
Seamus didn't specify the rules on that.
No, I want that. I wanted this one.
Coach.
I wanted this one. I enjoyed my collegiate career at UConn. I came into the league as a scorer. Really dominated as a scorer. Haven't been
Rudy
much more
Gay.
of that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, one more, and then we're gonna switch to some cards.
One thing I want to say about Thies.
Okay.
I watched a
I wish I
highlight.
remembered his name because I like him.
Daniel
I don't know
Theis.
if it's Theus, like Reggie Theus, or Thies.
No, it's Thies.
But I watched a highlight film of him, and they had him block a guy 3 times in one possession in a 5-second span. The guy he was blocking, Zizic.
Ah.
So I don't know if
what-
that's
who that
good,
says more
good
about.
for Zizic
Who knows?
or good for the other guy.
Where's his playing time? In Maine?
I don't know. He might be a 15th
Yeah, you
guy.
guys
Could be
should
a
watch
15th
See
guy.
what,
Watch
John,
him.
you see
I've
what
seen
Mickey
some.
got
Watch
a
his
job,
highlight
huh?
film.
Okay, we're going Chicago Bulls.
I'm not a jump shooter. I don't shoot it well outside the paint, but I'm pretty quick. Seamus thought I was going to be an all-star.
I mean, I know who it is.
Well, say it.
Well, I don't want to.
I can't get it. Say it. Get it done.
Why not?
I can't
You
think
just
of
said it.
I
You
got
had
it. Got it. Chris
No,
Dunn.
no,
Good job. Chris Dunn. Good job.
You
Good
should have said
job.
Providence College.
They could have. All right.
Wow, that's a bust.
Well, that's what I was saying.
It's his second year. No, it's not. All right.
He's 23 years old. He's the same age as Kyrie Irving.
All right, so this is a completely new outlandish segment as well. Well, it's same segment, cards. This is another variation of cards. So this could be too hard, and we might just fail miserably. But today we're going to do...
Should I put these hats away?
No, they can,
No, they're
they
nice.
can stay
I
there.
like looking
it's
at
not
them.
like
I
the camera
this
can see
is-
the cards
this is
I
anyway.
wish
great
they had
hat.
the Pelicans.
I like that hat, too.
It took me a long time to figure out that
getting
this
more.
is a hawk
Yeah, it's a hawk.
in the outline. I thought it was a Pac-Man.
All right, so do you guys know the theory of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Do you guys know this theory? It's a theory that every actor in a Hollywood movie within 6 connections through fellow cast members and directors has been in some affiliation with Kevin Bacon. So we're going to do 6 degrees of cards.
Okay.
So I'm going to put down a player randomly, and then we're going to flip a player. And as a team, we need to get those 2 players connected through
Okay.
either teammates, coaches, or GMs. You
Okay.
got it?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just gonna. You want
How
to
about
choose it?
wives?
You want to choose it? Wives?
Well, you never know in the NBA, right?
If you could connect the player through wives. All right. We got Shaquille
Oh, I was just
O'Neal.
thinking Antoine Walker in that was just in the news of 2
All right.
guys.
6 degrees.
Who
of
was it?
6 degrees of Shaquille O'Neal.
Should we prop the card up? Can people see it?
No, I'll put it on the screen. 6 degrees of Shaquille O'Neal. Isaiah Thomas. Okay. Isaiah Thomas played. Okay, go ahead.
NBA Network.
No, I want players. I want teammates. Isaiah Thomas played with who's an older player on the Celtics. It's hard. He played on a lot of teams. Okay, he played with LeBron James on the Cavaliers. LeBron James played with who did he play? Did he play with anyone on the Suns? LeBron James. Did LeBron James play with anyone on the Suns?
Shaq played on the Suns.
Okay, so there you go. There's lots of connections. You got to think. This could be hard.
This could be dead. This
Yeah.
could be dead air time.
It could be a dead air time. This could be a segment we never do again. That's why we're trying them out. To the Phoenix Suns. He played on the Phoenix Suns with Jared Dudley. There you go. There's your connection. Shaquille O'Neal played on the Phoenix Suns with Jared Dudley. Isaiah Thomas played with Jared Dudley. Yeah?
Boston College guy.
There you go. Tricky. All right, we got Chris Mullin. The older ones are probably harder.
Maybe I got a chance.
Well, only if you do like you put Yabusele up there.
All right, 6 degrees of Chris Mullin with Michael Jordan.
Dream team.
No. I want to do actual NBA teams.
Oh, come
NBA
on. Dream
teams?
Team was a good one.
They're on the same dream team.
Yeah,
I mean, Michael Jordan played for one team his whole career, so it's really what Chicago Bulls did Chris Mullin play with?
How about we go? Well, 6. You can do so many connections. All right. Michael Jordan played with Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen played with Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon played with Robert Horry. You know what I mean? You can go forever.
Yeah, you just went in a road to nowhere.
There's 4 more.
I would go St. John's. I would try to see did any St. John's players play on Chicago. I don't know.
Bill Wennington? Did he? No. Is it St. John's?
Okay, ready?
Bill Wennington. That might be
St. John's guy?
Yeah.
St. John's.
So he played in Chicago. There's a connection.
There you go.
I'm happy I got
Bill
one.
Wennington. Crazy.
Let's quit while we're ahead. I got one.
No, we're going to do one more, and then we can just talk about nonsense, even though we're already doing that. 6 degrees of Larry Johnson with... You got some fun stuff over there?
Well, I almost feel like this could be like a homework assignment.
Yeah, this is difficult. All right, 6 degrees of Larry Johnson with Michael Finley. All right, so Michael Finley played with Tyson Chandler on the Dallas Mavericks, right? Tyson Chandler played with somebody on the Knicks. Did he play with Sprewell or Allen Houston?
Who?
Tyson Chandler.
Did Tyson? No. Tyson Chandler was on the Baby Bulls. Larry Johnson, by the time Tyson Chandler was on the Baby Bulls.
Yep.
Larry Johnson was probably close out of the league. He was probably on the Knicks by then.
Yeah, you got to string it. You got six options.
So it's really, it's
tough.
I'm happy I got Bill Wennington.
I thought Bill Wennington was great.
Well, Larry, who's on the Knicks when Larry Johnson played on the Knicks?
That was when he had the 4-pointer.
Right.
With
yeah.
Was that was Camby's
yeah.
team?
So there you go. Marcus Camby. Marcus Camby played on...
Who's the guy Pierce hated?
Oh, I got one. Marcus Camby played with Aguado Nahara, and Aguado Nahara played on the Mavericks with Michael Finley.
Oh, okay.
There you go. All right, that segment's hard. Maybe we have to do it. We should practice.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being hard, but
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we could practice.
Yeah.
We can look at the cards so we're more well versed. It's just about getting into it.
Maybe you could post that on the social media to see if anyone can figure out these like advanced calculus equations.
We could vote on them. Okay, we didn't talk about the player's voice. I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, and then we'll leave for the day. So player's voice happens every year, but it's only been happening for I think 3 years now. It's exactly what it sounds like. All players that want to get together and vote on basically the regular season awards. So players voted Russell Westbrook the MVP, and it's not like they don't have the same titles. So it's like best rookie instead of rookie of the year. But Malcolm Brogdon got best rookie. Comeback player of the year is Joel Embiid. The best off the bench, so basically sixth man, is Lou Williams. So Eric Gordon won it in the regular season, so that was different. The best defender is Kawhi Leonard. So Draymond Green won it, and this Kawhi was here. Hardest to guard was Russell Westbrook. Player that you secretly want to wish was on your team was LeBron James. Best dressed was Russell. The best clutch performer was...
Best dressed?
Best dressed, Russell Westbrook.
Wow.
Best clutch performer was Isaiah Thomas.
Rondo. I'm going to redo the best dressed.
Okay, Rondo.
Rondo's the best dressed, and he's a...
Best clutch performer was IT. Most influential veteran is Vince. And coach you want to play for is Pop. Anything stand off the page for you?
As far as coach you want to play for?
In terms of, I think,
go with Stevens.
I think this stuff kind of matters just as much. You got to think about how your peers judge you in terms of, in contrast with what league perception is. I really believe that it's obvious that Kawhi is a stronger defender than Draymond Green, and it's obvious that I don't know. There's certain players like LeBron is a good teammate despite other things. Like people obviously want to play with LeBron James because he's going to make you better. It's obvious that IT is one of the best clutch players in the league, even though he didn't get necessary accolades for that. I think that those type of things are kind of weeded out, and you don't see those from when media votes and when.
So every player in the league votes?
They
get a chance to vote if they want
every player
to.
in the league can vote. Yeah. Any standouts? Are you opposed to anything?
I
What do you think
don't
of
know.
the overall premise overall?
I like the premise.
Yeah.
Like NFL does the same thing where the NFL players rank 1 to 100, the top 100 players, and they have a special, and they do it up, and it gets a lot of attention. A lot of people watch it. So I think that's good for the league. I didn't know about it until you just told me about it. So the PR probably needs to be improved.
They do it all through social media. So they
Is
push
it
it
an
out.
open ballot? Do you know who your teammates voted for?
Oh, that's the best
That's
part.
really
Okay,
cool.
no, that's the best part.
You
I
know,
meant to bring
that,
that up.
so like that
That would be interesting.
You know that Kyrie did not vote for LeBron.
No,
Stuff
right.
like that.
That would be interesting.
It's not open ballot. Okay, the entire reason I wanted to talk about this in the show,
would be the
you
best.
made me remember. So one of the biggest part of the player's voice is every team, every player on the team, they are required to vote for this. They vote for best teammate on the team. Okay.
On their own team.
On their own team. So I'll just run through a few
Wow,
of them.
that's dangerous. That's like voting for team captain and
Yep.
having it public, and everybody knows who voted for team captain, and you know who voted for themselves.
Right.
Whoa.
Well,
LeBron
I don't think it's made public. I don't think the votes are made public. It's just whatever. Best teammate. So Mavericks picked Harrison Barnes. Nuggets picked Darrell Arthur. Warriors picked David West. The Rockets picked Trevor Ariza. The Clippers picked Allen Anderson. The Lakers picked Meta World Peace.
Oh, come on, stop there.
The team. What? Okay, yeah. Let's. I mean, there's going to be more that you're going to oppose more than that. Trust me.
Okay, go. Meta
Grizzlies
World
picked
Peace.
Conley. Timberwolves picked Rubio, who just left, which is interesting. Pelicans picked Quincy Pondexter, irrelevant. Thunder picked Nick Collison, which says so much about why he's still on that team. The Suns picked Tyson Chandler. Blazers picked Damian Lillard. Kings picked Garrett Temple. Spurs picked Ginobili. The Jazz picked Boris Diaw. Ready for this? The Atlanta Hawks picked Dwight Howard.
Wow.
I
guess.
The Chicago Bills picked Rajon Rondo. And are you ready? The New York Knicks picked Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, come on.
He's respected by his teammates. His teammates like playing with him. I feel like you got to give him a little bit more respect.
Rondo, and come on. My God. You see what Boogie Cousins wants to get Carmelo down there? He's looking to establish the old chump team right there in New Orleans.
The trend of that list is the guys with the most years in the league are getting that.
Not
recognition.
really. Harrison Barnes won one.
He's got 8 years in.
Who's the
8 years?
Celtics
Yeah.
guy? Who's the Celtics?
Yeah, I didn't say the Celtics. It's someone pretty random. It's like a good.
Probably Crowder.
No, it's off the bench guy. It was Gerald Green. It was
You
Gerald
know
Green.
what would be interesting would be.
We had that same conversation.
We said
we were watching the Celtics this
said, I bet you he's a great teammate.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because he's been in the league 12 years. He's been the
You know what, but I
ninth
think
guy
it
in
would
the
be
team for
interesting.
12
Would be
years.
interesting if we ourselves, without knowing anything, we talk about fans and what fans do. Who do we perceive as the best teammate on the Celtics?
Right.
Who do we perceive? I
Well,
mean,
I
some of
think
these guys we would not perceive Carmelo Anthony as the best teammate on the.
Well, if you're the 10th best guy on the team,
And if I was Phil Jackson, I'd want to know that my team perceived
Well, here's
Carmelo
another one.
Anthony.
if you're the 10th best guy on the team and you stink, like you better be a good teammate.
Well, James Jones was the best teammate on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's why he's still in the league.
Here's a young one for you. Andre Drummond was the best teammate on the Pistons.
But I like
That's
that.
a very young team.
All right, so that's all the stuff we have today. Thank you again for another episode in the Wheelhouse. We'll be back in 1 week time, not a 2-week break. Thanks, guys. I'm sure you'll be back soon. Wheelhouse, out.
The wheel is turning and you can't slow down.